DJ Dubz, Darnell Robinson walks into a bar. Whoa, you didn't think I was going to take it there, but I
Wow, it's all right.
All right, so what are we ordering? We walk into a bar on a Monday.
Sometimes espresso martini made with cognac, douce, or whatever the case may be. But today, I think I would do the sidecar.
I think we should do a sidecar. And so I know that douce is not always your first choice, right?
You see, well, at one point I was very big on Branson.
Yeah.
And then I started merging into because a lot of places don't have the VSOP Branson. That's a clear one. That's my favorite.
Okay. Well, so sometimes there's obviously a sugar rim on a sidecar, but I like to do something a little bit different. I'm going to give you a sugar orange garnish instead.
I like.
And a little bit fancy, so you get a little sugar and you can dump that in. But yeah, it's a good cognac. But have you always been a cognac drinker?
Always been a cognac.
Always been a cognac drinker, yeah. Well.
Used to be Hennessy, but it gets a little too harsh, so I like something a little smoother.
It is a little bit more smooth, 100%.
That's why it's Douce or Branson for me.
Yeah, all right, so here you go, sidecar on a Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah, our first actual cocktail together.
All right, let's do that.
Cheers, get in there. Cheers.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's definitely good. That's the stuff.
Yeah, that's it. See, so now you were so worried about a cocktail on a Monday. Now we're feeling good, honey.
Now the shoulders is moving.
Get up there. Let's play some music. Fuck it. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't usually drink cognac only because it's a little sweet for me. It's always a little sweet for me, but a sidecar is it. Because of the lemon, it just like helps with the Cointreau. It's like very good. Yeah, because cognac is made of grapes, so it's already coming from something a little bit sweeter, so it does have a sweeter taste. Rum is the same way for me, obviously from sugarcane, it's like sweet for me.
Right.
I like scotches, I like, certain bourbons and mezcals. I'm like definitely big on a mezcal, but this hits.
Yeah, see, I like sidecars, but not a lot of people can make them right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're very sour.
Yeah.
And it has to have the right amount
balance
of sweetness.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of times I'll just go places and order a neat.
Yeah.
Just because I like the cognac, and I'd rather have it neat if you can't make a good sidecar.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is.
Has to be balanced because they may be using some sort of like sugary mix or some sort of like sour mix, but all of our shit's fresh. And I'm definitely all about a balanced cocktail. You want the cognac to come through, which it does, enough lemon, and then that's it. Cheers, baby. Yeah, get into that. Yeah. Cheers. Well, welcome to Now We Sip the Champagne.
Yes.
It's really great to have you here. So I'm going to start off by telling everyone kind of how we met, how we came about. So it was a year ago. It's been about a year. It was February, I feel like, of last year, right?
No, actually, it was August. When I first came here, it was, I believe, August, the end of August or something like that in 2024.
Okay. Oh, so we had just opened.
Right. You had just opened.
Oh, damn. Okay.
A good friend of mine, Monique, she was celebrating her birthday, and she invited me to this place with a group of friends.
That's right.
And I came in here, and I was like, and I seen the DJ booth, and I'm just looking at everything. I'm like, they look like they need a DJ here. I'm like, let me talk to the manager. And then from there, the relationship started, and I think I started working maybe October, November of 24. With spot dates, and then from there went straight through 25.
Yeah, but you can't skip through those couple months because I'm going to tell you what, you definitely reached out as soon as you had come. I remember you like slid into the DMs and you followed up multiple times and you even emailed, I believe, and you were like, I came here for a birthday party and do you need a DJ? And this is like, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I remember that because obviously you opened the doors. The DJ booth is there. I have DJs, but we had so many. Every single day it was between like influencers and DJs, like, can I DJ, or I am a DJ, and I just remember your approach to it, like you courted the venue, which you want as well, like you want someone, I had just opened it, this was like the greatest thing I had done thus far, and you just showed like a genuine interest, and you were persistent, and that I always am attracted to, so I was like, all right, let's give him a try. And I see now after knowing you for as long as I've known you, I can see why you would be attracted to a venue like this, or why you're suited so well for a venue like this. Just the way you carry yourself, the way you do business, the way you like to throw a party, the way you like to exist in a party. And so, we brought you on, and I definitely know that you did not expect to come into what you came into.
Oh, no, not at all.
And between you and then Trackstar, he's also somebody that had been with me for a really long time. I feel like only the three of us could really speak to the insane year that we had and like the crowds that we got, because I know you know this already, but you know, for those of anybody that doesn't, I never opened this bar to be a Taylor Swift bar. This
Right.
was never what my intention was. It was a place to celebrate all music, all genres. You know me, I can go from this to that. I love it all equally, right? And I didn't ever want to cater to only one type of sound. I wanted everything. That's why the mural on the mezzanine, it represents like all different artists, because being from Vegas
Right.
and just like loving DJs and loving music, I love it all. So
Right.
so, the internet did its internet thing and then, branded us as this Taylor Swift bar. And then before I knew it, it was just like lines of these Swifties and lines of people coming in for Taylor Swift. And at the same time, we also had hip hop. We had all different types of music. So on any given night, you were pulled in two directions, two polarizing directions.
Absolutely.
And it was sometimes like literally as cut as the mezzanine wanted one sound, and then Taylor Swift, and I'm like, and you would play this, and then they would be happy, and then they would be upset, and then you had to go into Taylor Swift, and then they would be unhappy, but then they would be upset.
And I've mentioned it to you. I've complained. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I know.
They just come in.
I
I'm
know.
playing for one crowd. Everybody's looking at me like this. I switch to their crowd. Everybody was looking. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember when you replied, when you asked me, you're going to have to mix Taylor Swift with things and do custom mixes. And I'm like, sure, I could do that. Mind you, I had never tried that before, but I was like, I can make anything work. And I guess I was able to get through it.
You were able to get through it, and like not all DJs could. Like, I mean, I know that there's DJs watching this that worked for a second. They were too frustrated with that. But as a business owner, there are things you can plan for and that you prepare for, and then things you cannot. And as a business owner, you have to make a certain choice. And seeing how many people, and also seeing, at the base of it, I love music, and I love anything that gets people going, and okay, maybe it's not everyone's type of music, but you can't ignore 20 to 30 people screaming at the top of their lungs, dancing. This is why I open a nightlife venue, is because I am about the dance. I am about the music. I am about whatever gets people vibing. And okay, feeling 22 is not your jam, but like you can't ignore. And this is what I was trying to tell the DJs. It's like, you can't always just play what you want. Otherwise you open up DJ Dubz's bar, party of one, only your sound. You get to do that shit at home. You get to do
Right.
that when you're on your own time. But as a professional, right, we opened
for
up
the
our
crowd.
doors. You have to be a business, and you have to cater to what the business, wants. Not 100%, right? Like we didn't want to, and that's why I told you, I was like, I know it's weird, but you just have to learn how to braid this in every 3 to 4 songs, throw in a Taylor song, do a couple of this, and you did that.
Yes.
And I think too, because it may have never been your first music choice, but I know the power of what you do when you do it. I know you've seen the room light up both ways, and I know and not for nothing. There's definitely been nights where both floors are getting down to Taylor Swift, and
Right.
people you wouldn't necessarily think would get down to Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
and they're all screaming, "We are never getting back together," or "Shake It Off," or like some of these like songs that just like hit.
There's some songs that you just can't ignore from
Yeah.
her. And I was never a huge Taylor fan. Didn't know much of her music. I knew some things, and I didn't even know it was her song. But my daughter was a huge Taylor Swift fan back in the days, like I want to say a couple years ago, and she was always like, "Oh, Taylor this, Taylor that." I'm like, "Why are you listening to this Taylor? Like, what is this?" And then when I started working here and I told her, she couldn't believe it. She was like, "No way." She was like, "You're playing Taylor Swift now?" As many years as I tried to tell you about it, I was like, I had no clue.
Yeah, and that's what Trackstar said too. He's got daughters too, and they were like, "So like, Dad, you're playing Taylor." So like, that's the thing too. When the babes might be into it a little bit more than the dudes, and that's all fine. But your responsibility. You got into music. Well, we're going to get into why you got into music, but I imagine you do it because you love it, and you know that you're successful when you see the crowd moving, when you see the crowd responding to what you're putting on. Then that's a success. Like that's how I feel. Like if people come to my venue and they've gotten dressed up, they've made the reservation, and they're having a good time and they're vibing, like I've done it right. And this is why I did it. Obviously, it's expensive for people to go out. It's a totally different landscape for the entertainment industry. I'm sure you can speak to that. After the pandemic, things changed for us. So we have to, redirect, and we have to get a little bit more creative, but it's still out there. People still want to go out. They still want to dance. They still want to vibe. They still want to have a good time. So I would say, and I also think that anytime you can sharpen your own axe and you can add another notch to your belt, then you're taking your resume and you're expanding it, and you can say, well, I've done this. I've gone into a venue where this was the challenge. It's easier for you to go in a venue where you've played the same thing and then they just ask you to play the same thing.
Again and again.
That's
you've
boring. Done that.
I love a good challenge.
Yeah.
When it comes to music, I've been asked I've done a wedding that was a straight Latino wedding, and it was for an older couple in like their 50s or 60s. And I honestly think when they booked me, they booked the wrong person. They thought I was somebody else, but I still pulled it off. We're playing entirely Spanish music for the whole wedding.
Yeah.
And they danced and partied the whole night, gave me a tip, everything.
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe it myself because I wasn't playing the young Spanish music like the dembow and stuff that's popular now. I was playing old school Spanish music.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that they requested and mixing it with a little bit of braiding with some of the newer stuff. But like, I couldn't pull so many things. I've done Afrobeat parties, just challenge. Of course, I could do a Caribbean party, regular genres, but the old school Spanish wedding definitely threw me.
Yeah.
That threw me, and I had to do my research, and I filled up some folders of some music crates, and I did that whole wedding smoothly. And the challenges I love here with the Taylor Swift thing, anything, I would never tell somebody, no, I can't handle that party. I've done an event at Bloomingdale's that was themed for Italy. So I was playing a bunch of Italian music. It was like a Welcome to Italy theme that they had in the mall on the store, and I had to play a playlist based off of like Italian music, and I did that too.
Yeah, well, that's amore, baby. So, I mean, and not just, okay, so yes, you play here at Champagne Problems, and yes, you've, hit the Taylor Swift note on the head, but you've also worked at my other venues, and one of the best nights was that Sweet 16, and you killed it. Those girls were vibing, and, that's a totally different venue. That's, it's not set up with a DJ booth. It's more pop-up. We do events. People love to do events there, but we do a lot of, kids parties, bar mitzvahs, like different things like that. And you hit it. And I remember you sent those videos, and those girls were vibing out. And those are younger kids.
The good thing about that generation of Sweet 16s and stuff, I've done a lot of them, and most of the time they all like the same stuff.
Yeah,
they like the same stuff at each one, no matter the race or whatever. They all like the same type of hip hop, the same type of pop songs. And it's funny enough, they listen to some of the same pop songs that I grew up to. They still know them from the 2000s, like all that pop, all the Rihannas that we grew up to, even though they were probably babies when it came out. They still know it word for word.
Yeah. Well, and some of those songs, they're like timeless. Yeah. And then, you also see what's nice about the different generations, because we're always remixing things, whether it's clothes or it's music, but, it goes away for a while and then it comes back, and you're just like, you're able to like rediscover it again for the first time or enjoy it in a different way. So that's the other really, great thing about music. And so, when you have to read a party, and I've thrown this, you've done 40th birthday parties, you've done teenage birthday parties, you've done Taylor Swift nights, hip hop nights, Latin nights. I mean, it is all these things. It's very similar to if a guest walks up and they, you have to make them a cocktail, and you have to read how they are. You have to ask them certain questions, and then you have to hit it perfectly. You have to make sure it's balanced. You have to make sure you get them the spirit that they want. And so you're doing the same thing as a DJ. You're taking the notes, you're taking the requests, and sometimes, you just got to put that smile on and, just play what they just press the play, if that's what it is.
I mean, sometimes I love a good request. I mean, hopefully it's a good request, but sometimes I've gotten requests that maybe I'm not even familiar with the song. But when I put it on and I see everybody's reaction, I thank them for the request.
Yeah.
But I always make it sound seamless so you don't know. It doesn't fit out of pocket. It's always in pocket.
Yeah.
So, I might not play it immediately, but give me a few songs, I'll work my way right to it. And that's the best way to do it. You can't just throw a request on randomly. You got to make it fit and get in and out without the rest of the people who don't know that request not even noticing.
Yes. Absolutely. The transition is so important. Yes, I'll have my guy, sometimes someone will request and it'll be like, Sonos is playing and it's like a hard stop. And I'm like, guys, let's find a way to sexily get into it, to make it blend, to make it, feel like it wasn't a request like that.
I remember a time you did this to me when Ophelia came out, and you told me to play it like now. And I was like, you got to give me
you were mad, but
BPMs,
was I right?
You was right. It wasn't about the song, but it was like the BPM of where I was and where you wanted me to get to. I'm like, you got to give me a couple of songs. I'm getting there. I got you.
I know. I was scared because I wanted to keep the room, and I knew like there was like that break where I could like get out there, and I wouldn't normally want that, but I knew, because when that song, and I told you, the internet is the algorithm only cares about this song right now. Every single one is posting it, and then we had that whole room doing that dance.
You did?
Oh my gosh. And it killed
I was
it.
like, she was right, but
I know.
I just like, you gotta just,
Yeah.
because otherwise, I mean, for anybody who cares, when they hear something to jump from this to that, they look at me like,
They're like, what happened?
And
It's like when a DJ, my least favorite thing is when a DJ will play like 30 seconds of a song and then you're into it, but then he wants to play something else and you're like, wait. Like, let me get
you gotta
into
let some of them breathe. You gotta let certain
yeah.
songs have to breathe.
Yes, it's almost like a DJ that has like every song in their, Rolodex and they want to like get them all in or something. I'm like, yo, you got to like sometimes, and I'm sure like DJs will not even look out. They're not even paying attention.
Gotta read the room.
You got to read the room.
Read the room.
It is the most important thing. And if you got to throw in some ABBA, if you got to throw in whatever you got to throw in, because you don't know who's going to walk into your venue unless you are just a very specific venue with a very specific crowd that is always that, but we're not. We're
Right.
Lower East Side, we're a
Always
speakeasy. It's always different. And we have tourists that come here. We also have regulars that come here. We have people that care about the music. We have people that care about cocktails. We have people that just care about, taking that photo that they want. So you do have to be able to read. And it's really important. This is about hospitality, and hospitality is about taking care of your guest. So when you are a DJ, you are taking care of your guests by, you welcome them to your home, but then you read what they're doing, what they're vibing, what they're in the mood for, if it's their birthday or whatever. And then you deliver to your guest, because that's why you decided to be a DJ, I imagine, is because you wanted to cater to people that love music, love sound. And like I said, if I only wanted to drink what I wanted to drink, I shouldn't open a bar with all the spirits. I just drink what I drink at home. If you wanted to listen only what you wanted to listen, you just play that at home. But we both chose to be in forward-facing positions where we're taking care of our guests. I don't love a cognac, but I love making a good sidecar because I know you enjoy a good sidecar. So it's not my drink of choice, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make sure that it tastes perfectly. And I teach this too behind the bar. You get, some crazy requests, or sometimes mixologists, they don't want to make something basic. I'm like, if they want something maybe in your mind that's basic, it doesn't matter. Your job as the bartender is to take care of your guests. And if that's what they drink, that's what they drink. So I'm sure that's the same thing for a DJ and, playing to a room. And I think you've done just that. And we've really had an exciting, crazy year. And that kind of initial Taylor Swift craze has worn off. And now we're to a place where we get to kind of control our own narrative and decide. And that's what we decided to do, is that we're going to have nights for everyone, right? There should be a hip hop night. There should be an open format night. We have the Saturday brunch so that the Swifties have like a place that's just for them. But it definitely was, difficult for you to navigate as a DJ, but difficult for me to navigate as a business owner. Like I said, I didn't intend that. That was not my intention. And so then I had to make a choice. Do I piss off all these people that have seen us now and not play the Taylor Swift, or do I kind of lean into it? So we got through that together, and I'm glad that we did, because you are essentially our main resident DJ here. Like, this is your home, and I feel like it was the right choice to bring you on, and I think back to when you did reach out, and here we are. So, and now you're on the podcast, and now that we've talked all that business stuff, now I want to take it back, and I want to get into exactly how you got started. Ooh. Yeah. So take that sip if you have to, because I want to know how we got. Yeah, cheers, baby. Because I want to know how you got to that booth in the first place.
Well, stories probably how you would expect it to go. I mean, I come from a line of DJs and music people in my family, so. My father was never a DJ, but always had the equipment in the house and always was into music. My uncle was an artist, so he was like his sidekick with everything in the background, the music videos and everything. Bringing it down a little younger, one of my oldest cousins, his name is DJ Dubz. He's from Harlem. He used to DJ, and then my brother, who is 5 years older than me, took after him. And that's my brother, so of course I took after him. And that's how it started from childhood, in the house, in my bedroom. Me and my brother shared a bedroom and apartment. And the DJ equipment was there. 2 turntables, a mixer, the records. So when he's not home, I'm messing with it, playing with it. I never got into DJing for money. I got into DJing because I just love the vibe, like just to vibe it out. So once my brother went to college, it was a time when he left his stuff there, so I was constantly playing. Then he took his stuff. And I was in the crib, and I'm like, I ain't got no DJ equipment. I can't afford none. I had a PlayStation, I had a DVD player, and I had his old mixer, and I made it 2 CD mixes out of that with a mixer. And that's how I started
Yo, that's when you were like, it's just the story you would think, no, that's incredible.
Doing apartment parties in the building with a DVD player and a PlayStation and a mixer in the middle. Couldn't see the screen on the DVD, on the PlayStation or the DVD. I had to imagine what it was on the screen to pick a track and had no clue what it was doing. Couldn't really mix nothing. Anyway, it evolved down the line. That was like 14 years old or whatever, like long time. Then as growing up as an adult, new equipment, new stuff, kept at it. Probably around the age of 21, I want to say. Me and my boy, my best friend, the name is Zoo. This is actually the guy who we had the issue with, that accident. Still very apologetic about that. But
the doors, the bathroom door.
Yeah.
Oh, bringing it back. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah. So we sat down. And he was producing beats at the time.
And just to take a pause on that, he really was your boy. Like, he loved you. He was your groupie that night. He wanted to stay all night. He was at the bar like, Dubz is the man, this music and everything. And like I said, like, things like that happen. You just get a little and you just, you kind of don't know your body weight. And I make certain choices. Like, I know, especially like being from the clubs, like, glass isn't the best choice. But I also am a designer. I also love the way that things look beautifully. So it was an accident, but I do remember leading up to it.
He would never do nothing
like
that.
No. He wasn't like that. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't anything like that. He was really just vibing out, and I love Dubz, and I love this place. So, okay. Yeah. Nice to know he's, one of the real homies. Yeah.
Yes. He was doing beats. I was trying to DJ. No way into the clubs. We would just become adults and stuff. So we sat back and said, all right, let's start throwing our own parties. And then just put me on. Once I get hot as a DJ, then you could become a producer. I mean, he never followed through with the production thing. I mean, he still plays around with it, but it's not his profession anymore. That's how it started off. I started promoting parties, and then we built a team out of it, and we were promoting parties and put myself on until I kept building and building and building.
Throwing these parties where?
All over the city, Queens.
Yeah?
Yeah. Promoting parties for almost 20 years.
So how are you stepping into venues? You're stepping into venues. You don't have any sort of like real resume behind you. How are you getting your foot in the door?
Okay, so in that story, I was introduced by people to other promoters that were already in the business, and I became a sub promoter under them. Mm-hmm. We would just sell tickets for other promoters.
Okay.
And that eventually built up our crowd. So now once we got to that point, we would talk to an owner or a manager. Just sometimes we would just roll into random places like this. And you guys got a night? Can I throw a party? I remember I was working at the airport, and I called a number on Google that I found of Katra, which is used to be next door.
Okay.
And I called it, and the manager picked up. I guess it was a cell phone or something. I didn't know. It was on Google, and then I was like, I want to do my birthday party, and he was like, he could only give me a Thursday night. I was like, well, I'll take it. Flooded the place out on a Thursday night, and that was probably like, I want to say like my 23rd, 24th birthday or something like that. And then from there, we just kept doing it. We followed that formula. I was working with them, and they had a couple of different venues, so we was able to do different places and just continue to build and get into bigger venues. And sometimes it wouldn't be me. I'd partner with another promoter. They had a relationship with another venue. They got us in, and we throwing a party there now. And that's when that happened. And then I want to say now a good maybe 7-8 years, I kind of started pulling away from just being a promoter. I mean, a promotion side. My team, a couple of my partners moved out of New York. Everybody's not here no more. So it was like I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to focus more on just the DJ career, which is why I told you I kind of fell back from the promotion side. And just trying to be a DJ. At some point, I want to say 2018, I was picked up by the Union DJs, which is a pretty big DJ group here, based out of New York, but we're not just in New York, all over the U.S. and the U.K., some guys in the Caribbean, so we're Canada also. So it's a big group, maybe like 80-something DJs now, maybe 90-something, and that's just where I was like, well, I'm going to do this. Because I stopped working. I was working in the airport. I worked for TSA.
Okay.
Shout out to all my TSA
shit.
people.
Yo,
shout out to all my TSA people.
Remember, I told you, I just got back from Vegas. I had to take a last-minute trip out there. And usually, I live like right by the airport. I have a house like right by the airport. And my mom, she's one of these like, you got to go to the airport early. I'm like, no, I don't. I have the TSA pre. I left on I think it was the Friday, and I got out of New York like no problem. And TSA pre really quick, and she's like, no, you have to go. It's like a thing. It's a strike. And I'm like, I didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. Yo, 5 o'clock in the morning was my flight, and the line was up and down. And I'm like, this is TSA pre, like as in so I didn't know, but it's a serious serious thing that they're going through right now.
A
Yeah.
lot because of certain somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going through a lot. Some of my friends I still have friends that are still working there. They struggling. I started working there in 2006. I left in 2015, almost 10 years.
You were at JFK?
I was at LaGuardia.
LaGuardia? Okay.
Yeah, I was at LaGuardia full time. And when I was doing that, I was kind of part-time DJ. You know, I was on Thursday nights or whatever, off time because I couldn't give it my all because I was working full time.
Yeah.
40 hours sometimes plus 40 hours a week. Once I left, I went full time DJ, and that's when I really started to see my career go up, up, up.
Okay.
You know, from doing radio to different clubs and just building everything. And it became, this is my full time job. And it's been for like 10 years, almost 11 years now.
And were you scared to make that jump into full time?
I was. You know, it was something where it just seemed like it was time. So, all right, a little bit backstory, which is like kind of like weird. So in 2006, when I started working, the day of my
your initiation or
something like that, I forgot what it's called.
Trial
right
or kind of
so
introductory.
The date when I got signed in or sworn in, that's what you call it.
Oh, sworn in, yeah.
The
okay.
sworn in date was the day my daughter was born.
Oh shit!
On May 1st, 2006, I left from the airport and went not from the airport, from the hospital and went straight to the airport.
Damn.
First day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sworn in as a dad, and then you sworn in.
And
to
literally
work.
went to the airport with the hospital band on my wrist.
Wow.
So I left from the hospital, went to the airport. From there, I worked almost 10 years, and the day that I decided to throw in the towel was the day I was in the hospital and my son being born in 2015. And I said, this is kind of like a sign. I was going through some things at work, and it was like they was trying to argue with me. I was like, you know what? Kick rocks. I'm out of here. I'm going to just focus on my DJ career. And I did that. At the time, TSA wasn't getting paid as much as they are now. Maybe I should have stayed, but they definitely got a crazy jump and raise. And they kept talked about it all the years I was there, but it never happened. You know, so I was just like, let me just go full time with this. This is my passion. I love to do it. Let's focus on it. And I never looked back to haven't really had a regular job since. It's just, then I've been maintaining my lifestyle.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, I can definitely say maybe TSA missed out on you, but I'm glad I didn't miss out on you. So I'm definitely glad that you made that jump. And it is a scary jump. It's a scary jump to make your life about, an industry that can be very volatile. I mean, I think that we both know, we talk about this all the time, and anybody in this industry about, the patterns of drinking, the patterns of people going out. Like, we're New Yorkers. We're used to, 11 p.m. starts, 4 a.m. finishes. Now, I think that that's different. We all know that it's different. People are going out earlier. Maybe they're not drinking as much. They're smoking more. They're doing different types of things. So it's a scary jump to choose a profession where your income essentially revolves on other people's choices and the way that the world works. Like, we also know when there's war or there's something going on, politics affects our profession and whether people go out, inflation, things are expensive. But I do think that if we stick with it, because I know I stick with it because I love it, and sometimes maybe we should both go get jobs for TSA. I don't know, but I stick with it because I love it. And is it it's an industry that can definitely kick your ass, but it's like, I mean, I could do a lot of other things. You're a smart man. You could do a lot of other things, but I do this because I love it, because it's in my blood, same way. And, there's highs and lows with anything, but I still want to be happy with what I'm doing no matter what. I could sit in an office. You could sit in an office. We're outside people. Like, you know what I mean? Between the looks and the sounds and all of it. And the vibe,
entrepreneurship has always been like my lane. There's more I want to do besides DJ,
Oh yeah.
But I just know it always revolves around hospitality. This is kind of my thing. I've thought about opening an event space for like private events, but also thought about stuff like this. And I've always came up in this game. I was introduced to this scene, I should say, through some really good promoters. Most of them are retired now. They were always older than me, so I didn't come up with guys my age. I was working with guys that were like 5 to 10 years older than me. So they were very well seasoned in this game, and they taught me a lot. And when I was doing things, I always, because I played both roles as a DJ and a promoter, I also worked very closely with a lot of managers like yourself. So I wouldn't just be a DJ, just show up in a club and play. Like, I'm studying everything the same way a promoter would, the same way from a venue. I work with the managers, so they point out certain things to me. So that's why I kind of have certain knowledge of a lot of things, because I don't just pull out my computer, DJ, and go home. I can help you with certain things because I see things differently. I learn from people who really taught me, like, look, this is what we got to do. This is how you make the bar move. Don't just keep the energy always up all the time. You got to sometimes give it a little relax. Send people to the bar. Give them that time to go get more drinks. Then come back to the dance floor. It's a science to everything.
There is.
And I feel like I learned a lot from the right people. And now I'm always sitting here like, damn, I think at this point, maybe it's time for me to open something like, or partner with somebody doing. So I have so many friends in the hospitality industry that has opened restaurants, lounges, everything that I know personally, like good friends. I go and I see their spots and I'm like, damn, I need to do this because everybody I came up with now owns a spot from Long Island to Brooklyn, everywhere. I'm like, this is crazy. I think it's calling for me to open something, but I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but it's around the corner.
Yeah, well, you'll know. You'll know when you're there because just like you said, the word seasoned, like that's one of my favorite, words or references is really important to work with people that are smarter than you and people that are seasoned, that have been through the game. That's what I did in my career. I was, a manager for a lot of club owners. That's always what I did in Vegas and in New York. And then doing that, I worked for the Yankees. I opened up sugar factories. I worked in a bunch of clubs in Vegas. And then finally I got to that point where I was like, okay, I've watched, I've learned, I have worked with the best and, went through hell with the best as well. But you learn. And even, learning from someone, working underneath someone can only get you so far. You'll never actually know what it's like until you do it yourself. So I took that jump, 2014. I'm sure you know that story, but I set out to open my own place. And then it was like no for 3 years because I was on my own and I didn't have like rich partners. But I was adamant about doing it. And then I opened UES in 2017. And, it's been like a crazy ride since then. But I knew it's just kind of like when you're trying to like, whether it's a relationship or it's a job or you're like ready to check out and you can feel it, you'll know. And then once you do it, it's an adventure. It's not for everyone. I definitely say a lot of bartenders or a lot of people that like love what the bar is about. There's such a business side of it to it. It's more business than you can imagine. This is why a lot of these places close, is because it's not just a house party. It's not just a place for your friends to get drunk. If you've got a bottom line, you've got bills to pay, but now you're comping everything to your friends because they're just so excited that you own a bar, it's not going to last, right? You have to run it like any other business. Like I used to work in finance, so like I'm not giving out, free trades or free stocks or free financial advice, so you have to treat it like a business. And I definitely know that you're business savvy, just like the way that we've curated some parties together. I can see that come through from you, and the way you like to conduct business, the way you like to keep things straight, whether it's money, whether it's bottles, whether it's a menu, or whether it's even, down to the flyer. And you take it upon yourself to come in to do the promo because you got to push. And that's that promoter side of you that like promoters is a rough ass job.
It stays in my blood though. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but it's the hustle,
It is.
You got to be good with, the nose. We know what that's like. It's just you're pounding the pavement. You're like trying to hit it, lots of no's, and then it comes through. But that persistence, and that same way you took that persistence and applied it to like how you got into Champagne Promise, but like also like, not for nothing, but you Googled that shit and landed like almost a 2-decade career at Katra. That's like, you gotta get out there. And I know as a New Yorker, but like, you got to get out there and get it. No one is going to hand that shit to you.
Right. Definitely.
It's really smart that you learn and, just even working here, you'll be able to take that. If you open your own venue, you'll know now, you'll have this experience to fall back on, because maybe you open your venue for this, but then you get this type of crowd. Like, I remember when I worked at this venue where it wasn't supposed to be a Taylor Swift bar, but then it was, and then we had to play and we had to, makeshift and figure it out. So yeah, definitely learn as much as possible, and then when you're ready, you'll know that you're ready, and you just never know who you might meet that may know how to open places and partner with, right? So, okay, so I want to go back a little bit still to the beginning about your family. So where's your family from?
My family is, all right, so my parents are born and raised in Jamaica, West Indies. Came here, I believe around in their teens or something, so late teens or something, they came here, and then we've been in New York since. So,
yes. Yeah. Well, Jamaican New Yorkers are definitely some of my favorites. I'm sure you've seen or you've heard me. I've sat across from quite a few, but it is always like in the blood, right? Like music is in the blood. Jamaicans, you go to Jamaica, they're drinking and they're dancing, and they've always just got a vibe about them. Islands, people that are from the islands, they also just like have that way. It's just like, I don't know. It's the reason why people go to these islands to vacay or to like like enjoy themselves, because it is nothing about enjoyment. These people are always enjoying themselves, whether it's food or it's work.
Good time, definitely food.
Yeah, yeah.
I just recently came back from Jamaica, and I haven't been to my family. So my father, after he retired from working for Verizon, he moved back to Jamaica. I want to say now maybe 5-6 years, something like that. He's moved back to Jamaica. My mother moved to Florida. I haven't been to Jamaica. I've been as an adult, but to the tourist side. But I went to visit family after a long time. It's probably been about 28 years or so since I've been to visit the family side in Jamaica.
Oh, damn.
And everybody was just so shocked to see me. I was like, everybody, it still seems the same though. It felt like, but it was so relaxing. It was just chilling. Like, everybody's having a good time. Like
yeah.
You said, it's all about good time. Food, more food, more food. What we doing today? We at the beach, we chilling, like just calm vibes. Completely different than when I'm on vacation there. It was a different feel. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back to visit family more often now because it's been so long.
Yeah, definitely.
Even my father has a house there, but I haven't gone to see him in so long. Like always comes here, but I haven't gone there.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the soul needs that shit. They need it. Certain cultures are about connecting in the right way, and it's always different. Food is the connector for many cultures, right? I mean, like, and each culture has their own cuisine. Italians, Syrians, Jamaicans, like everyone does. But certainly, like I said, it's the music is really important in that culture, and it shines through. I know a lot of Jamaican DJs or just Jamaicans in general that are just. It's just that vibe, you know?
Like being from the Caribbean background, a lot of people don't even think I'm Caribbean. They think I'm Spanish or whatever else, but I never fell into that pocket of just being a Caribbean DJ. Like the way I play is so open, you can't put me in a box with anything. Like I play Caribbean music. I may not play it like a real Caribbean DJ, like that's not my thing, but I will still kill it for any Caribbean crowd and any crowd. Like, and it's like, that's what I love in me, but I like the older stuff. I'm an older guy. So I like the classic stuff. I'm not the newer stuff. It's cool, but I really like the older stuff, 90s reggae and, stuff like that. So, I mean, when it comes to anything, I always love 90s and 2000s. Like, I like going back.
I think we all do. This was the best, one of the best times for music. You see that 90s trend that's happening right now. We're all in our 90s feels, and just because it really was a great decade. I mean, for the Yankees, for the Knicks, you name it. It was a good time. So I will tell you, back to what you had said about it being a science. So like when we throw events, and depending on if it's maybe it's a 40th or a 50th or something, or maybe it's I don't know, a crowd that wouldn't necessarily, like I used to work in the clubs in Vegas, and we would have a lot of these different expos and a lot of these different businesses that would come in, software, technology, and you're expected to get them going, but they're not get them going type of crowd, like you said. So you gotta work. So it's a matter between the bar and the DJ. So when I see something like that, and like it's maybe an hour in and they're not really drinking their drinks, and I'm like, we gotta get people out of their heads, out of a certain mode, then I will start passing around shots. And if they're sweet so they go down more easily, then okay, because it is also my duty to help the DJ, because people won't dance. Some people will dance. I mean, dead ass sober, I could get onto a dance floor. I'll always be the first one, but that's not for everyone, right? Like we know that it usually takes one person to get the dance floor going, and it usually is after a couple of drinks.
The alcohol gets it flowing.
It helps it, I understand, and people are in their sober ways, and that's all fine and well, but to get you, because all that it is that people are nervous of what other people are thinking about them, right? That's like all that it matters, because we all know that once they start, forget about all that. They're wild. They're up. They are dancing. They are twerking, whether they know how or they don't. All it takes is just for them to get out of their own heads.
One of my favorite lines to say on like the microphone with crowds is, "The more you drink, the better I sound."
The better that guy looks. So
right.
Like, let's go.
So get to that bar, get yourself something to drink, and then we go party. Because if you're sitting sober, you're not going to enjoy yourself. And sometimes people just need to let go. Have some drinks. You don't have to be over the top, but one little drink will warm your blood and you'll just start to feel different.
Yes.
But when you're just sitting there, just waiting for somebody to buy you a drink or whatever the case may be, then you're not going to be in that vibe unless you're just a person that likes to hit the dance floor sober or not, Right.
And that's not that may be the exception, but it's not the rule. And I mean, there's a reason why I named this place Champagne Problems. And again, going back to, yes, Taylor Swift has a version of it. A lot of artists have different versions of it. I know, I mean, you're sitting here at this podcast called Now We Sip Champagne, and that's because my favorite version of Champagne Problems is from Biggie's Juicy. He talked about, Christmas Misses and Now We Sip Champagne. And it's talking talking about when you're poor and you're on the streets and you can't pay your bills and you're hustling, or that's a real problem. But then once you've made money, or once you're in a, we have, and especially in America, we have champagne problems, as in like our problems are problems, but we're still living so much better than so many other countries and so many other people. And so, we do have real problems out there, whether it's in our lives and we're all struggling with money, or, the world is in a rough spot. So when you do step inside of champagne problems, I want you to have only champagne problems. I want you to have, your biggest problem is your glass is empty and we're going to fill it. Or, maybe it's, not the song, but we're going to play the song, as in like, come in here, put this shit on the shelf for a second, all the other stuff, kind of like you said, like take a moment, because in our heads, we all have we got to do. And especially as New Yorkers, we always have a long list. All of us are busy. Yes. We always have shit to do. Always. So we got to take a moment to just chill out, listen to some good music, vibe, use our bodies, dance with a stranger, have some sort of epic moment, your hands in the air. And like, that is what we do. And it is a science. It's a mix of the alcohol. It's a mix of the lighting. It's a mix of the DJ. And and to strike that balance where we all know that we killed it, it does take all of us, right? Like if you got a slow bartender, or you can't get the drinks out and they want to drink but they can't, that's a problem. If the lights are too high or they're not giving that kind of sexy feel, that's a problem. Or you've got a DJ that, keeps skipping over the songs, or won't play to the crowd, or won't change the music, or won't throw in something they want to hear. And back to what you also said about this thing right here, there are certain DJs that they are terrible on the mic, because all they want to do is hear themselves speak. All they want to do is sing to every song or hear themselves speak. And I'm like, yo, this isn't the, you show. You got to be able to get on the mic and pump people up and then shut up.
Yeah.
And then play the music, because they came to hear music, not just to hear you orate all night. So you're really great at the mic, and everyone loves when you go on the mic. You know how to announce when we got bottles going out, when we've got, and you can read that,
you
right?
have to pay attention to everything.
That's what I'm saying.
I see it before it comes. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking and watching.
The second we lit that sparkler, you're like, we got a bottle, and we don't have to tell you, like, okay, we have a bottle, and that's, again, back to reading the room, reading your crowd, paying attention, head on a swivel, not just you, like, this is what I want to play, like, you're really thinking about the room as a whole.
And in the way the DJ's booth is positioned, because there's like a whole crowd behind you.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to turn around and be like, okay, they're not feeling this, but they're feeling it down there. So we got to bounce back and forth for them. The position of the DJ booth is very unique. It's good, though. It's very good, because I like to have people behind me. I can have a whole party up here and don't worry about what's going on down there. People just want to eat dinner down there.
Yeah.
And now that I noticed recently you were telling me how you could lower the volume downstairs. That actually works, because most of the time, the crowd that comes upstairs want to party.
They want to party.
They definitely want to party.
And it's because
it's more confined space.
Yes, and that's, again, back to, like, they need to feel like everyone wants to dance. Downstairs is too big. The ceilings are too high. It's too wide of a space for people to really, like, feel like, they could get down, because they want to get down.
Yeah.
They want to fucking get down. They didn't get dressed up to fucking sit down here and just, go like this. So, now that we can, and you're right, because most DJ booths, their backs are against the wall, and you can see the entire room. Whereas now, it's kind of like a circle bar where you do, most bars are just like that, and you got your back to the back bar, and you only have to look at what's front of you. But there are bars out there that are circle bars, and you have to read the room and go all the way around, and you're like this. But and I did want it that way, so then this way we could cater to different, parties and things like that, and rent out an entire top floor. And sometimes people walk in, they think nothing's going on. Little do they know, you got 100 people behind you, go wild up there. So
and I've seen people downstairs. They're confused. They're like, why I would be playing something, or why the vibe that I'm giving off is more than what they're just sitting there talking like they would do at a speakeasy. But there's a whole club behind me.
There's a whole club behind me. So,
just give me a minute. If you come take a look, then they'll be like, oh. The last time I think I was playing for the Duce situation, that party upstairs wanted something, and then I know there was a group downstairs that talked about the volume, and I guess they couldn't understand what was happening when it started to change into a party. And then I want to say, after a couple of drinks, they were on the dance floor, standing on the couch, and I'm like, this is the same people that asked them to turn it down.
Yep. Yes. So that's back to that science, which we all know, the chemistry of alcohol and the bloodstream, it gets you. So, and once we all just, like, got to get out of our heads, and that's what our industry is about, is providing that place for people, that escape, that fun, that dance, that move. Like everything else is work, the home, the laundry, the chores, all the things that we all have to do. But, you know, we are in that industry that is really just about fun. You know what I mean? We're not the dentist. We're not your doctor. We're not going to check you up. We're not, you know, we're none of those things. We are a place where you're supposed to just like vibe out. And I know I created a place where everyone's like, what the fuck? But a little bit of what the fuck is okay. You know, it's a little bit of New York. It's a little bit wild. It's a little bit Vegas. You go to Vegas and there's a lion and there's a Statue of Liberty and there's an Eiffel Tower. I mean, I was raised in Caesar's Palace. Like, shit's crazy. There's a naked statue of David over there. There's people eating in a fine dining restaurant, and then there's like a couple of strippers walking by. So like, you know, I am who I am, and it's just meant to be fun. That's it.
Right.
It's meant to be fun. And I always say, like, this industry, some of this is serious, but none of that shit's that serious. With the right song, with the right drink, like, we're doing what we're doing. And like I said, you know, we do it because we love it. So yeah. Okay, so now you've had some time to think. So now,
here we go. I don't know.
How about some of your favorite venues? So you were at Contra for a long ass time.
Well, I wasn't there on a regular. It was just like I would go and do certain dates, different you know, rotating. I never really stayed somewhere. Where I was for a long time actually was their other venue, Taj.
Taj, okay.
I've done Taj on Thursdays and Sundays I did the Sunday brunch for like 5-6 years or something like that.
Okay.
So that was one of the spots I would definitely had. They also had a spot called Suite 36. I used to do Saturday nights there for a while. So I kind of move around. And they also had on 34th Street, Highland Park. They used to be opened, and you know where Babylon is? That used to be next door to Babylon was Highland Park, and I did Thursdays and Saturdays there for 2 years straight. It was after work on Thursdays and then late night on Saturdays, and then they closed down. Then Babylon took over that venue. I move around, so it wasn't like I was just at Contra, or I just moved around, and then other venues too. I mean, I've worked a lot of places. I can't even.
Have you ever traveled like to different countries or played like out of New York?
Besides like a wedding, I did like destination wedding.
Oh, okay.
I recently did one in Barbados a couple months back. But that I haven't done too many things out of the country or out of New York per se, unless it was a private event. I would just go on for it. But club wise, no.
Okay, well that's definitely something I think you get on your list too to travel.
Yeah, I'm actually breaking into that next weekend, so I'm going to Miami, South Florida, to do a event called the Rose and Roses. My brother's spearheading that out there, and then Sunday I'll be doing the brunch that he does. I forgot the name of the venue.
Oh, yeah.
April 4th and 5th I'll be in South Florida doing events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teach me a little bit about Florida, because everyone's telling me I got my next spot I got to open in Florida. And I don't know shit about Florida, and I don't love Florida.
Well, the weather's great.
Yeah, I know. So you get out there and you tell me what that night
I've
is about.
been to Miami plenty of times. I love South Beach. It's always a dope place, but a lot of people like that's kind of regular now. So like you have a lot of places that's like in other parts of like downtown Miami or Fort Lauderdale. I'm not familiar with all the different areas, but there's building up everywhere. There's plenty of places, and things work. Things work out there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, then let me ask you. So, like, because people ask me this all the time. Like, so now it's 2026 and we know New York is New York. And what advice would you give to an aspiring, like, you know, young DJ who's like trying to put together a PlayStation and DVD player, which none of those things even really exist anymore, you know? But like, what sort of advice would you give to someone that's like an aspiring DJ that's like, I want to become a DJ? What would you tell an aspiring DJ?
Work on that catalog, being open-minded to different types of music, learning how to seamlessly blend and read a crowd. Don't play for yourself. I don't agree with falling into that USB world. Have a computer. You should be able to find any music at any time. And you can curate lists, which is cool, but you need to be able to take a monkey wrench at any time. Anytime. If somebody throw you you could go there. So definitely, I don't understand that world. I mean, I think this is that. I feel like, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know DJs that play on USB sticks. I know DJs that always have computers. But I feel like some of them just kind of get into it just for a certain thing and not to be open to everything. You can't be that great. If you just go out for a certain set and you know tonight, I only need this tonight. So maybe I'm just going to roll with this. But you still need to have your laptop and your book bag on the floor with unlimited access to music.
100%. And I think, we're obviously from a certain, I mean, we could say generation, but I feel the same way. And it is exactly what you said. It's that monkey wrench. It's that last minute pinch hit. You need the owner, the manager, the birthday guest, the guest of honor. And if you can't, I hate to say no. Like my team knows it's the last word I want to be able to say. If I can within reach, if I have to run to the deli to get it, if we don't have it. I have this one example. I used to work at a club called Rum Jungle, and it was a Brazilian Rodizio restaurant, but then at night we were one of the top clubs, belly dance or go-go dancers in the air, and it was one of the first mega clubs in Las Vegas. It was at the Mandalay Bay, like a million years ago. And obviously it's a mega club and people were like lined up, bottle service, this, that, or the other. But there's hotel guests that are staying there just for their vacation. And so they don't know that we're the hot mega club and that, every industry person or everyone is there. So it was a couple and they had come in and it was, a guy, and I could just tell he was ordering Blue Label neat, and she wanted a vodka martini with blue cheese stuffed olives, and we didn't have blue cheese. Nothing on the menu called for blue cheese. There was no blue cheese, but I could just tell the way they were dressed, the way that they acted. They were there as visiting, right? But they just happened to want to go to the mega club, and they were at my bar, and it would have very easily, I had 20 people deep, and I didn't have blue cheese stuffed olives. I had olives, but I didn't have blue cheese. And so it would have very easily for me to say no, right? I could have absolutely been like, no, we don't have blue cheese, but here, and she would have had her drink. And I was like, and I told my barback, I was like, yo, watch the bar for like 5 seconds. So Wolfgang Puck's was a restaurant across the way from us. So I fucking left my bar. I ran. We have a line of people out. My entire bar is so busy. I ran across the hostess. I was like, yo, I'm working the club over there. I was like, can you guys give me some blue cheese crumbles like as quick as you possibly can? And she was like, let me ask, blah, blah. But she did. And she got me like a thing of blue cheese. So I ran back to the bar. I took out the little, pimento or whatever, and I stuffed it with blue cheese. And within probably less than 5 minutes, I had a shaken martini with blue cheese stuffed olives, and they just couldn't believe it, right? And they noticed. So the answer for me is yo, make it happen. No is the very last word I ever want to be able to say to someone, just because that's just not what I'm about. I'm about that W. I'm gonna get that win, right? So to what you said, yeah, I see a lot of the USBs, DJs, but then how can you? How can you?
It's nothing to take away from what they do.
Yeah, no.
You have what you do, then I have what I do. I can't understand it. I don't care if you have 2 terabytes on there. How long would it take you to find what you're looking for through all this stuff? It's just, I don't understand it. Maybe it's something I'm missing. I haven't tried it. But I feel like the USB, and then we get tricked by all these social media things, and where you got 15 people behind you reacting and going crazy to what you did, and you can't do that in a real life situation. It looks good on the internet. Yeah. But in a real life situation with tons of people, how do you handle certain crowds and what you do? I don't see it.
And getting pulled in different directions and what it's really like when you're under fire, because everyone can get Instagram tricked. Everything looks good on social media, but when you're in the thick of things and you want to, make it happen, you got to be able to, have your critical thinking and have your attitude and just keep your cool and just get it done. And like you said, we're in this business, we are also the people that are attracted to that, that climax. We are high intensity people because 9 to 5 jobs, you know what to expect. There's not really but we are about the build. We are about that execution and about that those 2 juicy ass hours where everyone's dancing, everyone's vibing, everyone's drinking, and it's that's what we live for. That's what gets our heart going. That's what gets our blood flowing. Those types of people that are attracted to that, that's why we're in this business, because we love that moment. And even me, sometimes I have to pinch hit and I'm behind the bar and I'm happy that you're playing, because I know I have a million drinks I have to get out, and I'm listening to the music, and it's just it gets me going, which then makes the guests happy because I'm dancing and I'm having a good time.
I always see you dancing and singing.
Yeah. Listen.
I'm well, she likes it, so we're good.
that's who I am at heart. You know what I mean? I've been a club bartender my entire life, and now I'm a club owner. And at the end of it, the DJ is still my favorite person. So
nice.
Cheers to one of my favorite
people. My bartender's one of my favorite people.
There you go. Cheers. Thank you so much.